Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy, the Mad Kiger, and up here today, guys, I've got a bit of an idea for some upcoming videos, a new sub-series, shall we say. I've already talked about like buying guides in the past, and I've kind of done buying guides, but what I wanted to do was do a sort of a video for collectors in 2020. It's been a pretty tough year so far, and there are people who are still trying to collect games like myself. And what I wanted to do was sort of do like a brief rundown of some of the things you need to be aware of when collecting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of an introduction video today, just in general, not focusing on any particular console. And then throughout the next few videos and stuff, I'm going to sort of split it down into different consoles and generations, which ones are worth going for, some pros and cons for each console. Like I said, it's not really a buying guide per se. If you guys want to see a dedicated buying guide video, let me know in the comments below. But I will touch on some of the things that you need to be aware of each consoles. But I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do this, which is why I thought I'd do this introduction video first. I might do it like split into like different parts, like pre 3D graphics consoles, like 16-bit and 8-bit consoles. Then I'll go into like early 3D consoles like the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64, and then like the early 2D consoles like the gaming era, like the PlayStation 2, GameCube era, and so forth, and to modern consoles, HD consoles, 4K consoles, and maybe then I'll go into some quirky things and touch on some handhelds and stuff. There's a lot of things that I can do with, but again, I mainly want to focus on consoles that I have, because obviously consoles that I have I know more information about. Don't get me wrong, my knowledge of video game consoles has grown quite far throughout the years, and that's due to YouTube and stuff. But um, so what I thought I'd do today is sort of touch on some of the things that you need to be aware of. First things first is, I know it's tough to try and figure out what console you want to collect for, and I've touched on these sort of things in the past. And the thing is, you don't really want to be collecting for a console just for the sake of it. You need to bear in mind, there are I like to say there's like three things that you need to bear in mind. First thing is budget. When you know how much money you've got, you want to sort of figure out what consoles are within your budget range. If you're going for a cheaper console and a cheaper collection to build, then I'd recommend something like PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, and you want to do some research. You want to look up what consoles are worth doing. But that's why I'm doing these videos. I'm going to go through these different consoles, and these are the three things that I'll be touching on, sort of thing. But budget is always an important thing, because money is what buys you these consoles. Now, there are plenty of ways of getting consoles, and obviously you want to shop around kind of thing. I know it's not easy at the moment to go and shop around. A lot of game shops are closed. They are reopening soon from what I hear. But there's still a lot of people don't particularly want to go out and go to these game shops. I'm still, even though that I know that they're going to be opening soon, I'm still in two minds whether I really want to go out and do these things. I'll still stick to online for now. But budget's always something important that you need to be aware of. Don't be going out there and going, I've got some money, I'm going to go out and buy the most modern console, PlayStation 5, PS4, whatever. Uh, you want to go within your own budget range, and know that different consoles have different, prices. And I'm not just on about the consoles itself. The PlayStation 2, for example, you could buy yourself a PlayStation 2 console with a bundle of games and probably two controllers, memory cards, a full set, basically, for less than 50 quid these days. If you shop around, look online, go to shops and stuff. But then again, if you're looking for something more modern, you've got to bear in mind, if you're going for a PlayStation 4 or something, that the games are going to be a little bit more expensive, or if you're going for something like a Neo Geo or something like that, you know that you're going to be paying an arm and a leg for the game. So be aware that you know what you're going into budget wise. You don't want to overstay your welcome with some consoles. That's why I have consoles that like the PlayStation 2, where I have thousands of games, nearly 1,000 games, because most of these games are less than £5. I very rarely pay more than £5 for a PlayStation 2 game. And the only ones that I really do pay a little bit more for are some of the rarer games, the RPGs and stuff like that. And then I have some smaller collections, like the Dreamcast, for example. I only have 6 games for the Dreamcast, and that's because the Dreamcast, while it isn't overly expensive, most of the Dreamcast games are a little bit more on the 10 plus to 15 plus range. And I know some people say that's still not a lot, but bear in mind, if I can go out and buy 5 PlayStation 2 games for £10 that I don't have, or buy 2 Dreamcast games, chances are I'm going to go with the former one. But then again, budget is something that's worth mentioning. You need to be aware of what you're paying for, and don't be scammed by anyone. Always make sure that you look around. Don't go on eBay, oh, someone's selling a Super Nintendo, for example, with 10 games for like £100. Think that's a good deal. And then when then later on you see something else almost the same for less. So be aware, don't go with the first offer you see. Shop around, it's important to do. Another thing that is worth mentioning when it comes to collecting is knowing what console or particular thing you want to collect for. What genre of consoles do you want to collect for? Do you want the most modern system with all of the high-tech support, the 4K output, the extras, like all the subscription services you can get? Then you're going to go for a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, or obviously a PC, but I'm not really talking about PC here today. I will touch on some PC stuff through these videos, but then again, most PC stuff nowadays is digital. But you've got to bear in mind, when you're going for a certain console, you want to know what consoles or particular thing you're collecting for. For example, if you're a fan of arcade beat 'em ups or fighting games, then something like the Neo Geo would be right up your alley. That's what I'm trying to get at. Look into what kind of games and particular things are per console. If you're looking for something that just has a bit of everything, and you don't care too much about if it's got the most modern graphics and stuff, something like a PlayStation 2 would be perfect for you. If you're looking for something that is early 3D graphics, those early retro style graphics, then something like PlayStation 1 or Nintendo 64 might be up your alley. If you're a big fan of like 16-bit games, Super Nintendo, Genesis, that's what I'm trying to get at. You want to know what sort of quirks and things are in each particular console that you're collecting for, and it's important to know what you're looking for. I recommend that the best thing you do, I personally done it, is go on to a game list website and look at every single game that's on the system, and maybe pick out and choose some ones which you think would be interesting to you. That's something I've done. I've made Google Sheets of so many consoles. I do want to go back and do it, but I'll probably do that on my laptop at some point again. And that was how I actually at first actually prioritized my games. Not prioritized, what's the word, programmed my games. What is the word I'm looking for? I know, progress. One of them days, guys. Profile, that's it. That's how I profiled my games at first, is I made a list of every single game that was on the system on Google Sheets or Excel spreadsheet or something, and it worked for the most part. And but there are plenty of people out there that have already done them, so you can look for their stuff. So it's something that's worth looking into, is knowing what you're getting into. Don't just blind buy for the sake of it. You can blind buy. I personally do that quite a bit, as you can tell. But you don't want to particularly go for a particular system just because everyone else is going for it. Go for what you would like. And another thing that I'm gonna bear in mind when I do these, these individual, I guess we can call them buying guides or collecting guides. You know, this is more so from the newcomers, but even if you're not a newcomer to collecting, it's just sharing some information. And another thing that I will think about when doing these videos is you. How do I put this? Is knowing what fits you. Again, I personally don't feel like every console is worth collecting unless you are passionate about something. I have some collections that only have a few games, like my Dreamcast collection, my Super Nintendo, my Vita collection's like 5 now. And one of the biggest things that I've done throughout the years is collecting some systems and never played them. And I'm still aware that I have a bunch of game systems that I have never touched yet. And the thing is, you don't want to just buy game systems for the sake of it. Um, you want to know what you're getting into is worth your time, basically. You don't want to just buy stuff for the sake of it. You want to make sure that what you're buying is something that you're going to be interested in. I personally haven't played everything, and because of what's going on with the real world at the moment and the life that I don't have, hours and hours and hours to play games. So, I know what games that I can play within certain time. And you want to think about, do you want to do this for yourself? Do you want to do it for yourself? You just want to collect games for yourself, or do you want to do it to share with other people like myself? Or are you going to do this so you can play games with friends, play online? It's all important to know what you're thinking about and what kind of view you've got on these games. Don't personally, I'm so sorry, I'm a bit off today, I don't know why. Don't go into a system, collecting a system, if you feel like it's just going to sit on the shelf. And I know that's what's happening right now, but again, it's space, and that's something also worth mentioning. You've got to bear in mind for space. But don't go out there and go, I'm just going to collect a Sega Dreamcast just because it looks good. Know what you're getting into and try to prioritize what one you want. I've already talked about my priorities list, with ranking what I play and what I collect from A to C or 1 to 3, and I am slowly going through my PlayStation 2 games and actually been playing a few PlayStation 2 games as of late. But I also play a lot of co-op games with my friend on the Xbox. And, that's something I also should mention, is that you don't want to go out there and buy all these consoles unless you know that you're going to get some use out of them. Being a collector is often referred to as being a hoarder. And the difference between hoarding and collecting can be a touchy subject. But I personally think that hoarding is something that people just do because they have some issues and they have no control over it. They don't want to get rid of anything. Whereas collecting is something you take passion in and you actually make use of. And, I'm not saying that I use everything I've got at the moment because of space and things. I don't have everything set up and ready to play. But within, these coming years, you never know what's going to happen. That's why I keep a lot of my stuff, because I have got rid of things before in the past. I had a GameCube collection, I had an original Xbox collection, and I got rid of those in the past because I weren't using them. And I thought, what, I can make space, to make space for my PlayStation 2 collection and stuff like that. And the thing is, you don't want to be going out there and buying loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of games unless you know you're going to get some use out of them. Anyway, I think this introduction has gone off on a weird tangent, and I apologise for that. But what I'm going to do in these upcoming videos is going to go through different systems and go through some of the pros and cons and why I think you should or shouldn't collect for it, which ones are the ones that are worth going into, worth your money, which ones you should be aware of are going to cost a little bit more, what kind of games are on it, who's it great for, all of these good things, you know. And, you know, I could just give an example. Say, for example, a Super Nintendo. Who would a Super Nintendo be good for? Well, fans of the Nintendo for a start. Maybe people that had it as a kid, you know, people that are looking for 16-bit games, a lot of family-friendly games, you know, some challenging games, you know, co-op, two-player games. For example, something like that. It's going to be a bit more evolved than that when I get around to doing it. And I apologize that my video has been a bit back and forth today. I don't know what's been going on today. It's just one of them days, I guess. And sorry if this isn't giving you a great idea of what kind of stuff that I'm going to do. It's still a touch and go subject at the moment. I'm still figuring out the best way to do these videos, whether I want to do them as a buying guide, because I don't particularly want to go through every console that I have and go, oh yeah, you need this and this and this. I'm more going to do it as a collecting guide for people that are interested in getting into collecting for a particular console, and like I said, share what I feel like is a good thing, what can be a bad thing. There's not really a bad thing about collecting a particular system. There aren't many systems out there that aren't worth your time. It's all down to personal preference, and I'm going to go through, like I said, maybe go through 16-bit retro stuff, maybe touch and go on some of the more quirky consoles, maybe some ones that I don't have, some ones that I think are better for some players, like if you're more of a single player person, or if you're a family person, and so forth. Just go through this how I feel like it's going to work out, how I feel like it's the best way to do it, I guess. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I've been a bit over the place today. I don't know why, but if I do continue on with these videos, I hope that you guys can sort of see what I'm trying to do here. I do want to try, and I've got a few other videos in mind as to what I'm going to do. I've got maybe another top games video where, you know, top games to play to be relaxed, or when you want to chill out, and no rage inducing games, stuff like that. But like I said, I've got plenty of content to work with. I just really do want to try and get to properly editing videos and streaming properly and stuff in the future. I do really want to work on doing that. And there's no easy way of going around doing it. I just have to get the money to do it one way or another. But if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave a like and comment below. Let me know what particular consoles you think I should go over, or if there's any that you want to hear more about. Any appreciation, any information or any feedback would be great. And of course, guys, feel free to subscribe if you haven't already and join the family. And as always, follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Mixer at the Mad Kiger. I probably won't be streaming tonight, but I might be tomorrow, so if I am, that I'll be posting on there. And as always, guys, have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care and bye bye.